The Toyota Kluger is one of Australia's biggest selling family SUVs, but as part of a recent facelift, it's been downsized under the bonnet from a V6 to a turbo-petrol 4. Is a smaller engine a big deal for a big family SUV? Let's find out. This is the 4th generation Kluger to go on sale in Australia. It's what's referred to as a soft roader, meaning it's not really an off-roader like Toyota's Prado or iconic Land Cruiser. It's found plenty of buyers over the years competing against the likes of the Mazda CX-9, Kia Sorento and Hyundai Santa Fe. There are 3 models in the Australian Kluger lineup, 3 equipment levels, 2 different engine choices, and pricing, which has gone up pretty sharply in recent times. It now starts about $50,000 and tops out about $80,000 before on-road costs. Here we've split the difference and gone for the mid-spec GXL with the new engine and all-wheel drive. The Kluger comes with a competitive 5-year and unlimited kilometre warranty and a service plan with 12 months and 15,000 kilometre intervals. If you're not planning a trip around Australia, that should mean you only have to visit the workshop once a year. Line the latest Kluger up against its predecessors and you won't struggle to spot the evolutionary styling. It's a bit more dramatic with the bulging rear wheel arch and more aggressive snout, but the rectangle on wheel shape, designed to maximise carrying capacity, remains the key design feature. Up until recently, the Kluger had a 3.5 litre V6 engine under the bonnet, but that's now been replaced by this 2.4 litre turbo-petrol 4-cylinder. It's a bit down on power compared to the V6, well up on torque, and a frag improved when it comes to fuel consumption claims. It's instantly obvious when you settle into the Kluger's driver's seat that there's been a lot of effort put into upgrading the interior design. It just feels much more modern in here. It does all the basic things you expect. The seat has power adjustability, the steering wheel adjusts for reach and rake, and there's heaps of room. But the trim materials, especially the vinylish seats, don't inspire, and it doesn't feel as upmarket in here as vehicles of this price should. No concern about storage options in the Kluger. Check out the way the top of the bin slides back rather than flipping back. That sometimes can get in the way. There's also cup holders, glove box, big door bins, and these ledges in the centre stack for putting things like smartphones. Well, they've downsized the engine for this 2023 update to the Kluger, but they've upsized the touchscreen. It's now this 12.3-inch infotainment screen, and it's a big improvement in terms of clarity and size from what came before. The Kluger now allows wireless Apple as well as wide Android smartphone compatibility, which is great because both have more features and are easier to interact with than Toyota's own infotainment operating system. Not everything in the cabin of the Kluger has been upsized or digitalised. The instrument panel is still analog dials, but they're large, legible, and there is a digital speedo in between, just for a little extra bit of surety. The Kluger GXL comes with all the safety essentials and a 5-star ANCAP rating. There has been some questions posed about the protection offered by the curtain airbags for third-row passengers, but ANCAP gave them the thumbs up. An SOS emergency call function is new for 2023. The Kluger's a big vehicle at nearly 5 metres long and 1.75 metres high, and Toyota's used that space really effectively in this middle row. There's heaps of legroom and headroom. Jump in the 3rd row and yep, a tall person could survive for a while in here. The sliding 2nd row seats help make that possible. Great feature. There are now climate controls in the rear and vents for the 2nd and 3rd rows. Plentiful storage in row 2 and some in row 3 as well. There are also 2 Isofix and 3 top tether straps for child seats mounted on the middle row, but none for row 3. With all the seats in place, boot space in the Kluger is understandably limited, but the more you fold the seats down, the more space you get to load your luggage in. Very flexible. There aren't that many clever features back here, just a place to chuck your stuff. By the way, the full-size spare tyre is under the floor. Hopefully we won't be needing that spare tyre anytime soon, because we're off to have a drive of the new Kluger and see how it behaves, and its new engine of course. And as this is the all-wheel drive model and it's got off-road modes, we'll give it a drive on some gravel as well. Toyota swapped out the naturally aspirated V6 for efficiency and environmental reasons. And as far as we can tell, there's been no impact on performance. That's because the big bump in pulling power or torque compensates for the drop in power. It comes in at low revs and hangs around for quite a while, making sure there's plenty of oomph for the low down acceleration. That performance is delivered by a prompt throttle and a responsive 8-speed auto. For a big 2-ton vehicle, it's pleasing how light on its wheels the Kluger GXL feels. That really helps in the cut and thrust of city traffic, say launching into a busy intersection, as well as being more enjoyable on the open road. The powertrain's enthusiasm is aided by light steering that make this big vehicle easy to manoeuvre around town or out on the highway. This generation Kluger also rides on a new platform, and that seems to have tidied up the handling that bit more. It's also got a really helpful 11.4 metre turning circle. We can confirm the Kluger retains its composure on gravel. We even pressed the gravel button. Nothing much really happened. The gloss comes off a bit when it comes to ride, which can be a little bit jiggly and intrusive on bumpier surfaces. On coarse chipped surfaces, you can get a bit of tyre and road noise seeping into this cavernous cabin as well. It's not always the quietest place to reside. Nor is it an especially frugal one. Our urban fuel consumption average was in the 11s, although it settled down to high 9s with a bit of country and freeway running. It's nowhere near the hybrid, but it's better than the thirsty old V6. The Kluger is pretty easy to see out of, which is important considering how big it is. Big windows and a high ride height are the key attributes here. All up, the outdated Kluger GXL is a pleasant surprise to drive. It's a bit rough around the edges, but for the most part, the experience is positive. So is this new smaller engine a big deal? Not really. It's another evolution of what is a very evolutionary vehicle. It's a more eager performer than the old V6, but still sucks more fuel than the hybrid Kluger, which surely means that version's going to continue as the bigger selling powertrain. And speaking of big, where size really matters when it comes to the Kluger is in the cabin. It's huge in there and very flexible, just perfect for families. It's the big selling point of the Kluger, and one that Toyota's very unlikely to be downsizing anytime soon. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and tell us what you think in the comments below.